Discussion keeps the world turning.
This is Roundtable.
The algorithms know you, predict you, and profit off you. But with reckoning, can we truly escape the grip of big data? And stick around for our special segment, Heart to Heart, your questions, our answers. Business, tech, culture, or whatever stirs your soul, we're ready to dive in. Coming to you live from Beijing, this is Roundtable. I'm Heyang. For today's program, I'm joined by Steve Hatherly and Yushun in the studio. First on today's show, with every click, every like, every move online, we're creating a trail of data. A trail so rich that big data might know us better than we know ourselves. It predicts our next meal, our next binge watch, and sometimes even our next heartbreak. In so many ways, our digital lives embody the truth behind the quote. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. All that data we generate becomes a goldmine for companies eager to monetize our every move. You, our savvy Roundtable listener, are probably already aware of this hidden trade-off. Now, the awakened among us are trying to break free from the digital web that's been spun around them, trying to escape the tailored information cocoons, algorithm-driven recommendations, and personalized pricing schemes that seem to know us too well. And it's a rebellion against the invisible digital exploitation that has quietly shaped our online world. But can they truly succeed in breaking free? Tell us, Yushun, about this moment of reckoning when people realize that they want to break free from the grip of big data.
Oh, yeah. So what we can see is that young people nowadays are beginning to resist this kind of phenomenon called price discrimination. Some of them are caused by these big data algorithms, and they have realized that some platforms use big data to analyze user behavior and impose price discrimination on some of these very loyal users to maximize profits. And this behavior has made young people feel a sense of injustice, sparking their backlash. And also, this is why some college students are voicing dissatisfaction with algorithmic recommendations. They argue that such kind of recommendations overly cater to user preferences, and they are creating information cocoon, as you said, Heyang. While the suggested content may not always be accurate or valuable, and some people find it very scary because it feels like they're watching you all the time.
Oftentimes it can feel like that. Yeah, I guess it's frustrating, isn't it? Because you would think logic would suggest that the more loyal of a customer you are, the more loyal you are as a customer, then the more benefits you would get. But this is kind of the opposite, isn't it? It's counterintuitive. The more loyal you are, the more the higher prices you'll be suggested, whereas new users will be offered discounts. From a business point of view, I understand it, but from a consumer point of view, from a personal point of view, it is very frustrating.
It is. It's almost like it is that you're penalized for your loyalty and for the willingness to spend more. And the most horrifying part is the big data with this machine learning algorithms can predict exactly the price point anyone seated here is willing to pay.
Yeah, it's a little scary, isn't it?
It is. But the fact that we're being watched, that every move is being analyzed, or let's not say every move, but there are some that we know we've given consent, and there are others that maybe we've stopped, but maybe or is happening without us knowing. And this is all happening. And this is not particularly new news for people at this point, I would think.
That is correct. In China Youth Daily, they wanted to know how young people were feeling about this. So they conducted a survey on algorithmic recommendations, and they were targeting young people, primarily college students. 3,694 valid responses. That's what they got in total. And this is what people had to say. 78% believed that they needed to reduce their reliance on algorithmic recommendations. Almost 73% reported having experienced big data price discrimination, and almost 70% felt that recommendation algorithms should be more transparent in what they are doing. So obvious frustration from the respondents there.
And the term big data is center in this discussion. What is big data? Although this sounds very much like a term that was all over the place 10 years ago, but still provide a definition and tell us, how does it make recommendations?
Yeah, so basically, big data refers to the process by which platforms collect and analyze massive amounts of user data. And this data includes basically like browsing history, purchase records, device information, personal details, and more. Because they can analyze you through these kind of data. For example, maybe the price of your phone model is more expensive, then some of the platforms will recommend you more expensive products. And that is how these platforms are using or analyzing the big data or information of yours to give you specific or tailored information.
They're labeling you,
Right.
essentially. Platforms use this data for precise targeting. For instance, e-commerce platforms, they might offer promotional discounts, like we said, to new users, and a loyal user will get a higher priced item recommended to them. Similarly, video platforms recommend content based on a user's viewing history to match their interest. There's lots of different ways that this manifests itself, and on many different types of platforms.
And also, algorithms are, present in nearly every corner of our lives, it feels like. This survey also report, revealing that about 90% of respondents were aware of the existence of algorithmic recommendations, and also common platforms incorporating such algorithms include video platforms, is taking up about 90%. Shopping platforms are also using algorithm or these kind of big data kind of technology, and this is taking up for about 74%. People think 74% of people think these platforms are using big data, and also social media is 67%, music platforms 66%, and even lifestyle and consumption apps, that's 39%. Okay, I can understand, by when we're mentioning music platforms, maybe they're recommending you music that you may like, and that is a kind of favored function or feature that most of users will like.
Well, I mean, it's not always bad. We shouldn't vilify this. It's not where every example is a terrible example. For example, music recommendations. Or for me, I like to watch some TV shows on a streaming platform. And then after I watch, I don't know if you guys are show reviewers or not, like 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars.
I do that.
I do it too. Or the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Well, what you're doing is you're feeding into the big data, because you're helping the platform recommend shows to you later on based on the things that you liked or what you didn't like.
Right.
So there's an example of it where it's not terrible. And Mengna, who is a recent graduate from a university in Fujian, said exactly the same thing. The videos recommended to me always make me feel comfortable, always make me feel happy. She also referenced a ride-hailing app about her daily routines, suggesting that the ride-hailing app knows her schedule just as well as she does. She goes to visit her friend every Wednesday or Thursday, and the ride-hailing app knows about this. So if she gets a ride-hailing app at that time, the app will automatically fill in her friend's address. And some may see this as an extreme convenience. Others might feel like this is a little scary.
It's a bit freaky.
Well, it depends on how you view it, right? For example, just before the show today at around 11:30, on a Sunday, a few weeks ago, I got a coffee from a local coffee brand. It's a well-known brand at 11:30 a.m. And now every day, at that time of day, I get some sort of message from that company's app. I don't know if it's a coupon. I don't know what it is because I don't open it. But it knows, this is around the time that Steve gets a coffee, I guess. So let's just give him a little nudge. And on the ride-hailing app, I go to the same place a lot of the time to pick up groceries, or to there's another place I go for fun, and the app knows. So it's convenient. All I have to do is press the button. I don't have to search for the address. I don't have to copy and paste it. It's already there. So there are examples where it's really convenient.
And also because it is automatic, it can be accurate. You don't need to type in the address anymore because they've just pasting the original or the previous one. I had this kind of experience, and making this thing to me is kind of a convenient because whenever I put on my Bluetooth headphones, my phone immediately prompts me to open a music app, and you need to wear your headphone at a certain time because they will analyze and get all of these time data, location data, and also your device data into one kind of analysis. And then I don't find it bothersome in some way, because it is just telling me, or it gives me a kind of a convenient vibe that I can just click that button and then open my what I want to do.
I feel Yushun being a member of Gen Z, he's usually the more welcoming one of all kinds of new tech on the team. And also sometimes when, let's say, we're doing research for the show, I vividly remember a while ago, before Steve, you joined the team, we did this topic on electric wheelchairs. So I was researching on a few platforms. And then I got recommendations of that stuff, and I really don't want it. And also I'm searching leopard print Italian pumps as well. And I wonder how these different platforms label or profile me. I must sound like a wacko.
A very well-dressed elderly person, perhaps.
Maybe.
Or next you'll get a leopard print electric wheelchair recommendation.
Oh, wow. Maybe in pink.
Very stylish. But we're talking about the good things and the bad things today, but the main point here is that young people are fighting back. So how exactly are young people fighting against big data and all the things that go into it?
So one way is that they're trying to be invisible or going incognito to prevent the platform algorithms from accurately identifying them or their behavior patterns, also breaking the price confinement or discrimination imposed by this big data. So some of them will just frequently change their personal information by changing their personal details and using virtual usernames and avatars. And users try to conceal their true identity. Also switch different devices. Maybe you can buy one, use one shopping platforms on your tablet and use another platform on your phone. That's maybe one way, but you need to know that you don't use one account. Also, using different browsers, right? Using different browsers can help prevent platforms from tracking your behavior, and also try to disguise yourself. It is a way, I would say...
Fake mustache.
I think what we need to know is that these kind of methods are just concluded by netizens, and we don't have any evidence that proving that they're effective, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to hear the digital mustache.
Oh, yes.
How do you disguise yourself? Go incognito.
That is a quite interesting one, and I actually saw some news on it.
Yeah.
One you can comment, right? A lot of products, or even some when you're buying plane tickets, you can comment on the airline service, right? So you can make comments in the comment area or query pages. And you can frequently comment, it is too expensive, I can't afford this. And I will just cancel the flight or cancel the schedule. And then the price of the flight maybe will just decrease.
Go down a little bit.
Yes, go down a little bit. And I actually saw that news that someone commented in the airline service page, and the price decreased from 4,000 yuan to 2,000 yuan.
Yeah, it's just so, it's so ridiculous, isn't it, that we have to do this? It sounds like we're going into James Bond spy mode to just stop big data from knowing exactly who we are and what we're interested in and what we want to buy and when we want to buy it. Yeah, things like comments or dislikes on certain pages, but that doesn't always work. There's an article from The Verge from 2022, and they were talking about the fact that even when users tell YouTube that they aren't interested in certain types of videos, similar recommendations keep coming. Mozilla did a study on that, and what they did in the study, they looked at video recommendation data from more than 20,000 YouTube users, and then the researchers from Mozilla found that the buttons like not interested or dislike or stop recommending channel or remove from watch history are largely ineffective at preventing similar content from being recommended.
Oh, I've been doing all the wrong things then.
Yeah.
So
I don't
what's the
know.
key to this then? I don't think that these tech companies are just going to willingly tell us what's the, at the bottom of that black box. But
Well, one of the things, and this is from PC Mag, is, and I'm always guilty of this, when you go to a website or sign up for something, do you always put your real name, your real birthday, your real everything?
Well, from day one, my friend recommended to use a pseudonym, but sometimes you forget your pseudonym, so you just come up with a fake name and you always use it.
See, I always feel like, I don't know, I don't even think about it. I just put my real information in
Steve.
there. I know. And this is what PCMag.com says. And the title of this was How to Stop Companies from Collecting Your Data. They say, lie online. Lie online whenever you can. And they said, we're not talking about, giving a fake name to your bank or, government agencies or something like that. But when you're filling out web forms, what they recommend is that you can put in a fake birthday, a fake full name, a fake phone number, a fake physical address when you're searching for, I don't know, a hot pot recipe online, for example.
But isn't when you're required to put in so much information, isn't that when you're kind of pretty, I wouldn't say fully committed, but you're like signing up as a VIP or a repeated user of some platform or something? And here's the question. I've always wondered, I've always thought that I should put down my real birthday, because on my birthday, I'll get a free hot pot or whatever perk, the
Yeah,
whole
that's what I
point
thought
of me
as well.
signing up is
Yeah.
for that perk.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I should probably, maybe you can, write down a wrong year number, but for your month and day of your birthday, then it's probably best to keep it real.
I mean, I guess that's up to you, right? I mean, every year on my birthday, every year I still get a happy birthday message from a shampoo company that I bought shampoo from once, like 7 years ago. And
Isn't that heartwarming?
it makes me feel pretty good, actually, like they care or something. But this is what they say, and again, this is from PC Mag. If you can't figure out why an app or a website needs the information that they're taking from you, it's not a good idea to give them your real data. Again, that's not my opinion. That's from the website PCMag.com.
And also your phone number. Like in China, everything's
Through the phone.
Yes. So if you write a wrong phone number down, then what's the point of even signing up?
And also, that's why a lot of young people, they're trying to use another direction of their scheme. Okay, you want to analyze me, then analyze a cheaper me. They're creating a persona like that.
I like that.
Yeah, sometimes, by selecting and purchasing cheaper products on online shopping platforms, we can create a value-conscious persona. I've heard that on some platforms, even if you enter the same keywords, right, the search results might differ because, the platforms may estimate that you are a consumer likely to purchase higher priced products based on your previous spending habits. So the more you buy, the higher the prices of the products that appear might be. So you may just click on more cheaper products, and then they may recommend you cheaper results when you're searching on it.
Yeah,
All right.
but I mean, what are you supposed to do? For example, Heyang's looking for a really nice pair of shoes online or something. But what are you supposed to do? You can't go with your fake persona, or do you search the nice shoes and then say, I hate these in the comment section, or these are too expensive? I don't know. It's so frustrating because it just feels like so much work for us where there shouldn't be any work involved at all.
Right. So, but also I like to ask, maybe it's more of the people who've had this reckoning, who are feeling like this. But are all people rejecting the effect of big data? Are there some people who maybe enjoy living in the comfort of tailored suggestions, tailored digital suggestions?
I think we had a little bit of discussion about this. The answer is, of course, no, because not everyone completely rejects this big data and this convenience that brought by big data. You know, some young people are not fighting against big data itself, but against the unfairness and privacy invasions it may bring. And they hope to enjoy the convenience of big data while retaining control over their own data, avoiding being manipulated by algorithms. And also, I was trying to think from another perspective, because what we've been mentioning, the way that people counter these big data, are all the solutions that users can do on their end. And the root of the issue likely lies with the software developers, themselves. And the changes need to happen on their side. Otherwise, it's like, just I'm simply refusing to accept it, but that doesn't mean that these apps aren't still collecting my data.
And to support what Yushun was saying, going back to that survey from China Youth Daily, asking the question, are you wholly unsatisfied with this? And the answer again is no. 60.3% of respondents said they're satisfied with the content recommended by algorithms. So almost 70% said that it makes it easier to find content of interest. Almost 60% said that it improves information retrieval efficiency. It's easier and faster to find information that they're looking for. Then the numbers go down a little bit. Increasing opportunities to encounter new things went down to almost 44%. Useful learning resources went down to almost 27%. But what we can take away from those numbers is that
there are benefits.
There are benefits, and not everyone is against this.
Yes, and also for those who are against it, and I read so many articles on this, and I've been paying attention to this phenomenon in recent years, and it just kind of feels like we folks are, what is that term? Eating cake and having it too.
Yeah, you want your cake, you can eat it too, or something like that.
Yeah, because on the one hand, we benefit from all these hyper-personalized content that makes our digital experiences more engaging and relevant. And on the other hand, it's the same personalization can create all these problems that we've just named. So now the question becomes how much of this trade-off we're willing to accept, and whether we can find a balance between enjoying the perks while being mindful of the downsides. And it's a paradox of the digital age, where our desires for convenience, entertainment, and relevance can sometimes come at the cost of privacy, manipulation, fairness, and diversity of thought, may I say. So when in light of all of this, what do you think, how can we approach algorithms in a rational and reasonable way?
First of all, I actually read some privacy policies of various apps before.
You really?
I did.
Wow.
Because I found it scary. So I actually read through all of these policies, and they didn't mention or include any clauses about, listening to users' conversation, because I had encountered that kind of situation. Also, we don't have 100% solid evidence to prove they are listening to us, because their big data algorithms are incredibly extensive. For example, if a platform detects that you frequently send its link to a particular user, it might determine that this person is your friend. And if that friend searches for something that you've been talking about, and this app could still deliver accurate recommendations to you, even without your granting it any specific permissions. That's how the big data works. So sometimes this is an unavoidable situation, and it really depends on how you perceive it.
I mean, there are other things that you can do. By the way, you might be the only person on planet Earth who has ever read through those things. But yeah, you can do other things as well. But protecting your personal privacy obviously is one. Understanding, I guess, those terms. Nobody usually reads the whole thing, but if you want to scroll down to the data part, you can read that and know exactly what the app is going to be taking from you,
and decide not to use it, and find how inconvenient it is sometimes without it. Well, breaking free from big data's grip or grasp is an uphill battle, as all we can feel it, and one that goes beyond individual choice. Governments and corporations have so much power to shape how algorithms control our lives. Until we see real regulation, transparency, and accountability, the fight against digital exploitation will remain an ongoing struggle, with many still caught in the system that we feel we can barely understand.